Hello, can everybody hear me today? Fantastic. All right, we're going to give it just a minute to make sure that everybody can get on here. Today is going to be demo heavy. If you all know me, I'm not really a slides person. So I was like, let's just go into the product because I'm just trying to show pretty much like some of the 4 pillars that I want to make sure that we all have on there for the foundations to be set up, just so that you can have some reliable visibility and also to help you get set up a little bit faster. So we'll give it just another minute and then I'll kind of dive in here. There's so many of you from all over the world. That's amazing. Also, there's a couple of people that were out sick today, so it's me. It's a one-man band today. So I'm going to stop at I have 4 different demos that I'm doing. I'm going to stop at each one of them and try to catch up with questions, and then plus we're going to have Q&A at the end. So bear with me if I'm not like monitoring in the chat and being able to do everything at once. I do have 2 hands, so we'll see how far we can get on that one to go across there. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that I will make sure that we have time. And if there's anything that I can't get answered, I will put my email address in there a couple of times throughout so that you can email me. And I'm more than happy to answer them offline. I've jumped on plenty of people's environments after webinars and done some things and scheduled calls. So not a problem. All right. So I think we got enough time going across here. I am going to just put my email address in here so that I can have it at least in here once, right? All right, so I'm putting that in there. So please take that down. Again, if I'm not able to answer any questions today or get anything for you, please just know that I will try to catch those up. You can email me at any time, even if it's a month after this or anything. I'm happy to join. I've been with several different companies that are all wrapped around network monitoring and management as well as security for over 23 years now. So even if it's not pertaining exactly to Domotz, I'm here to help, like anything that you want to come across there. Even if you're just kind of comparing or doing some things or even looking at some other tools, I'm more than happy to help. And I love to just try to dive in. So my background is network and security. If you don't know me, I love networking. I love security. I love compliance. I'm huge about risk and being able to find some of that information out there and insurance or information assurance as well. So I'm Destiny Bertucci, and I'm going to be able to come across here and be able to provide some demos for you today. So let's dive in. All right, so the agenda, like I was saying, is going to be demo heavy. I'm going to go through some of the device profile setups, why that's actually good for you, what some of the expected behavior is going to be, how we're able to adjust those and get through there. I know they're new, and I've had a lot of questions. I've also had a lot of people who didn't even have them implemented just because they were like, set it and forget it, right? So we're going to kind of go through that one. Then I'm going to jump into network topology because I want to make sure that we have a good understanding of how that actually gets built correctly, what all you can do with it, and why that actually affects, some of our daily visibility of which that we're doing. And then we're going to go into building dashboards. So we're going to surface kind of like what some of that information looks like. Some of it, some people don't even know exists. So hopefully I can open up some doors for you today and show you that. And then I want to make sure I seen video stopped. Is anybody else having issues with the video? Are you all able to see me? I want to make sure. Okay. Thank you, Nolan. I got people that are helping out across here, so thank you. Okay. All right, so make sure you refresh. All right, we're good to go. And then we're going to go into using Domotz Insights, and that way we can kind of understand the network health and the behavior and things of which it's going across there. And then again, I'm going to do some Q&A. So once again, I wanted to remind you guys, one-man show. So if there is questions, I'm going to stop at each demo so that we can go through there. This will be recording. And this will be available on YouTube, LinkedIn, as well as StreamYard. You will have an email if you've signed up that you'll be able to access that, Rick. So after each demo, I'm going to go through Q&A. Again, you can email me if I don't get to it, and we'll be able to do that. Let me see if I can stop with the buffering here. Let me go. All right, let me see if this will help on that. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into some of these demos of which that we have here. So let me present this. Let's see if we can get the right one. Explorer. All right. I'm going to move it over this one so I can make sure I can see here. All right, are you guys able to see my screen? I'm going to make sure it's added to the stage. All right, good. We're able to see. Perfect. All right, I'm going to make sure that this is actually the screen so that you don't have to worry about this. All right, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through and start in on what we actually call our device profiles. And the reason for that is because they're able to help you to standardize your monitoring. And I think that that's something that's very vital for all of us to be able to have. So let me grab this real quick and I'm going to open this. All right. So as you can see here, I'm going to try to make sure I can keep my screen open. All right, got you guys. Make sure everybody's in there. All right, so basically in Domotz, what this allows you to do is to apply and to replicate your configuration settings. And this is things like your SNMP templates and things of that nature. It's in your left-hand side. So what it's going to do is you can either start, you can adjust them, you can do anything from here from your left-hand navigation. And this is going to help you to standardize your monitoring. This can help you to standardize if you're wanting to do this for like different client types, or if they are similar, or say they, you have certain standards that you're trying to implement or to do things, right? Like that's what we're able to do. So what we're going to be able to apply here is from your SNMP to your credentials to your parameters and all of these things. So we're going to go into the left hand and we're going to hit on our profiles. We're going to select the device profiles. And then we're going to look at what's existing. So we have one that's already here that's in testing. You can see what modules, as we call them, are set on this one. So this is a management one. So this has SNMP, it has some info, and it also has some more information here. I can click to the side, as you know from some of ours, and be able to dive right into it. I can set a description. I can actually design what kind of devices that I want this to be applied to. I can clone this if I wanted to be able to separate this and create a new one for a different group. I can create tags. I can create, which ones are important. I can go through all of these. But the main thing that I wanted to show is the actual credentials here, right? Because the credentials themselves are what a lot of people are like, man, I'm trying to get this up and running, but it's hard to get some of my discovery information in here. It's hard for me to get some of my credentials set. And I just kind of need to be able to do this at a faster level. Well, this is what Profiles is venturing towards. We are working on ways to help discovery to be faster out of the box and to help you to be able to take intake. And this is just one of the components of which that is going to be able to help this. So today we're able to go into the SNMP. I can create these. I can actually say which one I'm wanting to do, add my credentials to be into this template. I can even set up my SSH from here. I can set up Telnet if I have any of my HTTPS, ONBIF, anything of which that I'm trying to do across here. You can set this up and then you can apply it. When I apply this, I have the option to overwrite or to only go to the ones that are not already have an existing credential that's there. That's vital, right? Like that's going to help you to be set up. If you're doing network standardization, if you're doing a lot of your security credentials or doing things, these are the things of which that you want to make sure that you have a handle on so that you understand when we get to the topology side of this, why things are correctly being seen for that collector. And you need these basic foundations so that you're able to use a lot of the components of which that are within. So then we can actually go into the shared alerts too. And when we look at these, we're able to see, let me see, my mouse is deciding not to work as great as it should. All right, so on the shared alerts, we're able to then set these up. I can actually say, do I want to overwrite the device configuration or do I want to add this to my shared alerts? So this is, again, helping you to navigate and helping you to manage your Domotz across so that you have that standardization. I can add my shared alerts directly from here if I don't want to go into there, right? Yes, you can have multiple SNMP profiles. So you are able to apply those. Sorry, I seen that, Larry. I'm proud of myself. All right. So, and then I can actually create from here. So we're trying to make sure that you stay in the navigation of which that you come across here. So if I create one, it's going to allow me to create my shared alerts. I would be able to see any of my existing alerts. And then I am able to apply those alerts that would come across there for my profiles that would be there. So this is some of the information that we have. So if I wanted to clone this, like I said, I can totally say, clone out. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to go to SNMP. I'm going to add, my credentials. I'm going to add my credentials here. I can say 1, which we hope nobody is actually really doing, but you will be surprised when you do a scan how many actually have these as public and private. So this is something that I also like to include with people. Is I do like to sit there and actually go through there and be like, hey, did you know that these were actually available on here? And so that's when they were like, hey, wait a minute. Like, I guess they actually did have some that replied to it. And then that helps you to help the clients, right? Or help yourself, right? To be like, nope, I don't actually want these to be there. So it's just some ways that we're able to go through there. When we're doing our shared alerts, we can add those here, like I said. You can also be able to do SNMP. You can add your SNMP templates. So say you have Ubiquity, or say you have something else of which that you're wanting to do that's a special template that's doing there. Yes, you can upgrade your SSH from passwords to keys. Wait. What about upgrading SSH from passwords to keys? So if you already have the passwords of which that are set and you're wanting to apply the SSH, you will be able to overwrite that and be able to do that within. So when we're doing these configurations and adding these SNMP sensors, you can add these, and they're already the ones which that are here. You can set them up that would come across there. But if I have one, I can set it in here. I can manage whichever ones that I'm wanting to do, and then I can have this applied. So say if I'm wanting to do one that is like, hey, I want to be able to have APC and UPS battery replacement dates. Great. I'm wanting to be able to get all of this information. I'm wanting it to be applied because these are the standard templates that I'm wanting for this collector. Then this is how I'd be able to set those up. You can have all of these set up, and then they would apply to the devices of which that you're putting into your filter, so that they would then start to actually have these presented, so that you'd be able to monitor and manage across these. And you can keep adding SNMP sensors across here. And again, you can say, do I want to overwrite the existing, say you already had some there, or are you wanting to add to? And that's how you look at it. Do I want to overwrite the device's configuration with this profile, or do I want to add to if it doesn't have this that's going to be there? These are the abilities of which that you're able to have. And then with your TCP, you can actually turn this on if you're wanting to include these and add your TCP sensors of which that are here. So in the greater realm of what we're trying to do with these profiles is we're trying to standardize your configurations across multiple devices, right? And sites or customers or for your floors, however you're wanting to divide this up. We can also ensure that you're having your consistency, which is going to help you to reduce a lot of your errors of which that you have. Or also when we get into like in the next one, and for the network topology, you're actually able to then be more, have the correct topology, have the expected topology, and be able to see things that you're supposed to see and not have to question or like keep reconfiguring your devices. This allows you to have a baseline. I know a lot of people have a baseline template that they want to provide, that they want to use, that are like, guarantees. Like these are things of which we have to have, especially for SNMP sensors, things of that nature. They're like, this is exactly what we need to make sure that we have across here so that we can do that. If we're also doing, it includes recent improvements. So it has the expanded credential support. We have topology snapshots, and we have UI and, enhancements when you're doing that from your visibility sector. And when you have to have your foundation, and this allows you to get a foundation quicker when you're actually onboarding clients or onboarding yourself to this actual environment. This allows you to make sure that you have that information so you see the connections correctly and that the topology snapshots are correct as well. And so that's kind of the basis of why profiles helps you to actually kind of springboard into the environment that you're needing to do for monitoring and management. So I wanted to make sure that we're all aware of where these reside and where these are at, so that we can actually have a better conversation about some of the next ones when we get into the actual topology side of this. All right, I am going to look at some of the questions here and see what we're going on here. So Harold, you're saying using keys instead of passwords, of which that are coming across here. So on our SSH, what we're going to be able to do is username passwords. The keys is something that we're actually looking into for our credential module right now. And also, if you guys are curious, you can email me too, because we're looking at actually integrating with password managers, key managers, and things of that currently that's going to be a part of the discovery itself. So I'm going to pause here for a second on the profiles before we jump into the next one. But I wanted to make sure if you have any questions that I am able to actually see that. All right, so we just went through the device and expected behavior, and now I want to look at kind of the network topology. All right, Harold, great. That's perfect. I'm glad that you approve of that one. All right, if there's no questions, what I am going to do is I'm going to jump into the network topology. And again, if you have questions, I'm trying to catch them. I think I'm doing pretty good here. But if I'm not able to catch it, like just let me and give me time to come back to it. All right, so for the network topology, this is my favorite. This is something that I get excited about because this helps me to get a quick awareness. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the stage. Make sure you guys are able to see this. All right, so now we're going to go into the topology itself. So when I'm over here and I'm looking at my collectors and I've set up my device profiles, this is where a lot of people we find come together, right? They're like, hey, I can literally, like when we look at the behavior, they are immediately on the topology itself because, I mean, that's the important side, right? Like that's something that's very important to a lot of people. So the network topology map, it's going to give you a visual representation, as we know, of the devices and how they're connected across here. Now, the great thing about this is, especially if you are an MSP, right, is that this gives you a quick interface of like, or, you know, ability in the UI to say, oh my gosh, we discussed XYZ of these, but I didn't know about these devices that I'm seeing on here. So it makes you see the exact environment and how they're actually set up. Is it what you expected? A lot of people use Domotz to do that first network, standardization call. A lot of people use that as a first, like, hey, like, here's what we have for an inventory and an asset before they even have the conversation with an MSP. If I'm internal IT and I have or enterprise, this allows me to make sure that everything that I am expecting is there and what I'm not expecting is not there, right? Like these are some of the things that allow you to do this. Now, to make sure that you have a proper topology, I'm going to kind of go through some of the things of which that are here. You need to make sure that your switches are compliant. And we like to say it's not like it is mandatory for most of your topologies there is an RFC 4188. And what that means is you're enabling SNMP on especially your managed switches. So as you just seen on the profiles, that allows you to make sure that you are doing that and doing that at a faster level so that you can see the value faster. And then you need to enable your LLDP on managed switches. It's not mandatory, but it does allow you to see things of which that's coming across there a little bit easier. You need to ensure your SNMP community strings matched what is in Domotz and has the ability to see them and to be able to access them. So once you have those prerequisites actually up there, you should see a topology that you were expecting, or it can also create a situation where it's like, hey, these 15 devices that are hanging off over here, I knew nothing about these. And we did not have that discussion, right? Or if you have teammates and you're seeing like, things hanging off or, people are bringing their own devices, you can go have those conversations internally or be able to, update your user acceptance policy, things of that nature, which that you can come here. So what you're looking at here is a snapshot. This is great because you can take snapshots. You're able to see these. You can go back. And I wanted to kind of focus in on these because not only can you go into the devices and see the information, but you're also able to have your topology. So if I have something in ConnectWise or if I'm creating PSA tickets and doing things, I can know what's underneath them. And this is that grouping that we do in alerting now. So when it sends the ticket, you won't have like, say, in this case, if I did it at the switch level, these 15, 20 some devices here would not alert. It would be this a device that would alert. It's a hierarchical system, kind of a parent-child relationship, right? So that's some of the things. So we're going to be able to look at this as a snapshot. And so one of the things that I do is I want to look at the preview, the live. So if you notice, this is a snapshot from February that I have, right? This is the one that I have across here. So I can preview the live topology. and it's changed, right? So it's a little bit different of which it comes across there, which is totally fine. But this allows me to then see what has changed, right? Like 100% of the time, right? Like I'm a networker. And one of the things that I used to always say was, I was like, what changed on the network? Because your network doesn't change all the time. Now, if you have SD-WAN and you have some orchestration that's going on, you still have an expectation and should know why it's changing. And if it's not changing, or if it is changing incorrectly, a topology is going to be able to allow you to see some of that information. If it's shifting traffic incorrectly, if it's looping, if it's doing things that's coming across there. So I like to do comparisons. I can go back and forth. I can look at the date. I am able to see things. I'm able to make better decisions because I have more awareness. This is vital, especially if you are an MSP, because one of the things that happens is it's like, hey, I need to be able to understand their environment. And unfortunately, as we know, some clients have the ability to make changes, and it is their network, and they have done things that we were not aware of. And the topology can sometimes help us to have that conversation from a level set and from a data set, right? It's like, and I've had to do this a few times actually, where it's like, hey, I need to be able to actually, help you guys to stay secure, or help you guys to help me to make sure that your environment is set up so that the ticketing, and everything flows correctly. But I was unaware of this new, access point or controller or something of which that's coming across. And when I have that conversation and be able to show them this and show them there's not a CR, or show that there was no awareness, that's a better place to have a conversation than it is to be like, what did you change? What did you do? Where is it at? I don't know. It's a needle in a haystack. And we're both troubleshooting from different sides. So the topology itself is something that I feel like can help you day to day, that a lot of people kind of overlook sometimes, and don't quite get there, where they're just kind of like, well, I don't know about this one. I don't know how to have this conversation, or I don't know what's going across. And when you show them in the topology, sometimes it's like an aha moment, and it's like, oh, you're right. I see what you're saying. And it also validates your architecture, right? So it makes sure that you're able to do this stuff. So I wanted to show you, because some people have asked, and they do this a lot, like, hey, how do I get this into Visio, or how do I do this? I know people who use this quarterly. I know people who do this monthly, and they take a screenshot. It's, they save the SVG file. They're able to import this. This tells you exactly how to import this into Visio so that you have the information in which that you need. You can filter this in and then export it so that you don't have everything on here. You are able to control of which that you're wanting to export out of here. And so this is something that I think is very vital that comes through there. And I say vital a lot. Sorry, that's like one of those things of like, actually, right? So but one of the things that I like to do is I want to make sure that I have consistency, and I have things that are available, right? Like I want to make sure that I can look back on things and be able to say, yes, this worked, or no, this did not work. And this is where topology really comes into play, into my opinion. So this is some of the things that you can do, because I know a lot of people ask about that. But I also wanted to show you that, this will actually show you your improved maps. One of the things that we're doing is we're trying to put more insights in here so that you can actually do that, and then be able to update and stay updated on there. And then here's where you can actually filter some of your settings, like I said, before you actually export them, or before you do anything in which that comes across there. All right, I am going to, sorry, I was trying to look at this. All right, so I can also sit here and reset this to the initial. I can zoom in, I can zoom out. I can replace the current snapshot. I believe you can also disable live. Absolutely, you can disable live. I'm trying to catch back up here. All right, so Windows topology to take it. You can force it. Yes, you force the snapshot right here. Replace the current snapshot. I'm going to go back. I have live topology disabled right now. I can turn it on if I wanted to, but I have the snapshot of which that I'm wanting to look at, so that I can have a preview mode. And then we can actually replace that when we want to. So what a lot of people will do is, like I said, monthly or quarterly, or however they're looking at this, what they will do is monthly, they will take a snapshot after they agreed. They add that in there so that they can do that and get everything of which that would be across there done. All right, so I'm going to put this in here real quick. Yes, routed networks are supported for site-to-site connections. Let me see if I can get you some information here. You can, because you can monitor the layer 3 and the routed subnets. Just making sure you know that. You just have to go to the configured routed network scan feature that we have within there. And then some of the limitations that you have on topology is that when you do configure a routed network, you will only see IP address information as routed networks. So you don't pass that layer 2 information like MAC addresses that would come across there. All right, and then let me see here. Oh, no, and I'm glad that it's helped you guys out a lot. That goes across there. I see a lot of people that do that sometimes get very interested in some of the things that they find. We've been able to figure out that people were bringing their own access points and trying to create their own, little sections so that they didn't have some of the traffic. They could control what was actually encrypted or not. So that was interesting on a few of them. And I'm sure you guys have some of those stories as well that comes in there. All right, so, okay, and then RFC 4188. Yes, so that was the managed switch. You just want to make sure that they are compliant with RFC 4188. That's the one that we have in ours that comes across there. So the connector can't create the connection tree for the other subnets on the, correct, not at this time. Now, the way that we are doing the topology currently, and you'll see, that's why I was saying, like, if you want to look up here into your improve the network topology, I really wanted to make sure that you know some of this stuff. You're going to see some information that's going to come across here that, because we are constantly updating this. Also, for your guys' knowledge, what we're doing is on the release notes is we're going to start doing those weekly so that you'll be able to see those, and they're going to be a little bit to make sure that you understand those. And the PMs are working on some amazing insight for an internal resource center as well, so that you're able to see those and map it so that you can actually like go to the new feature sets, because this is a huge area of which that we are working on, like topology as well as credential management and onboarding, to make sure that everything goes out there a little bit faster that's coming through there, as well as alerting. So again, if you wanted to be a part of those, they have betas of which that are coming across there. Send me an email. I'm going to post it out there again so you don't have to scroll for it. But you can always send me an email, and I can make sure that I can get you in touch with the proper PM, because they already have some of these things that are turned on that are feature flagged, so that they can get that information for you and get you into it so that they can turn this on and help you work with you. If you have use cases, right? Like, oh, Rick, I'm telling you, the alert is pretty cool. So I'm excited. But if you guys have use cases that you're like, man, this would super help me, like, please let us know. Like, we want to be able to meet you where you're at. And we want to make sure that we're providing you the right use cases, right? Because I think at the end of the day, a lot of tools are out there. Not all of them. I don't want to seem disrespectful, but a lot of tools kind of talk at you and say, this is what you need, where we are really ingesting and trying to make sure that we are having the proper conversations for those that are using this and telling us like, hey, this would make my life easier. Great. Let us know. So if you want to send me, or if you wanted to send it to support, that's totally fine. But we really want to hear from you. You can go to our Reddit community. It's please sign up there. Like that's a great place. Violet does a great job in there, and we all try to be in there as well. But let's have some conversations, because we are diligently pushing out updates and incremental changes every week, and we're trying to make sure that we're really solving those problems before introducing all the bells and whistles, if that makes sense. Because it's like, are we solving the problem at the foundational level? Because if that's not solved, then adding other things, just it's inaccurate data at that point, right? And so we want to really make sure that we're focusing in on that. All right, so I am going to go into now, if there's no more questions, we can go into the building the dashboards. This is kind of a fun area for me as well. Yes, there is. Please join us. I would love for you to join us there. We have a great time. You can win Domotz boxes there as well. We try to do a lot of like kind of fun things there and get people involved in answering questions and creating a lot of things too, right? Oh, yep. And we also have Discord as well. So if your topology is wrong, you can manually actually update some of your topology as well. So we can go into some of these and we can hit connect, and we can actually connect some of these to there. So we can correct it. I'm glad you said that. Thank you. Let me add this back to the stage. My apologies. I was just doing that without you seeing it. So you may not have known that you could do this in your topology, but this is something that was introduced maybe a month ago or a little bit ago. So if I go into here and click one of these from my devices, not only can I update SNMP, like say it's red down here, I can actually update my credentials if I need to. I could go in here and make slight changes that are happening. But also what I like is I can go to connect and I can actually create a custom one, or I can open up a TCP tunnel. I can actually tell it to connect to these, reactivate, but mainly I need to create a custom connection. And here's how we're going to do this and fix some of the information of which that's coming across here. You can update your config. You can update things of which that are around here to make sure that your topology is doing good. So we're trying to make that a little bit easier to go across there. All right. I can see that, Sean. And actually, if you could send me an email, please do, because we are working on some like exactly that. There's a whole VLAN new configuration that's coming out. I don't know if you guys knew about that. But it's something that it's going to help you to onboard the VLANs faster, because one of the things that Domotz really thrives at is we're monitoring from inside the VLAN, right? So now what we're trying to do is how do we actually showcase what the VLAN looks like, so that would be an option within here, so that then you could actually see that. So these are some of the things that we're working on that would come across there. So I'm glad that you said that, Sean, and please send me out an actual email, because I would love to be able to have that conversation with you, and maybe even see if you can trial it and see to make sure that we're actually hitting some of those use cases, right? Because we can actually go through some of these you can change some of these mappings that you have on here as well now that you used to not be able to. So there's a lot of things that we're working on in topology. But again, if you have like specific things, especially around VLAN, let me know, because that's something that I really want to look at with you and make sure that I can get you a Chris, because he is so into this, trying to make sure that we're helping everybody on the topology side of it. So please let me know, and I will be happy to add you to there. All right, so I'm going to be, I was looking for custom names descriptions for network in interfaces. So those are some of the things that we are looking at to overwrite at this time. As you know, like we're not able to do that, but a lot of the times, because we're pulling devices, and I'll just throw this out here though, we need to just have the custom name, right? Because we can't just rename it, because every time we pull, it would actually overwrite unless we tell it not to. And those are some of the things that they're working on the backside, just to make that more apparent and to make that easier to be able to adjust, so that we're not upsetting the flow of polling, if that makes sense. So we'll be able to do that. All right, so on the building, comes along. Hopefully more accurate bandwidth usage and monitoring comes along. So please let me know how I could better help with that. One of the things, I mean, we're polling the devices, and it's polling from the device or collector itself. I know some people, and that's with any tool, right? But I know a lot of people, unless you have an endpoint monitor. So if we have a collector and it has to go through the same routed to be able to get there, that's going to be a different bandwidth. And if you're on the device trying to ping out to another one, because then you're actually from the device versus from a collector that goes through a routed network. Sometimes those numbers can be a little bit different. But I do know that one of the things that, there's different SNMP of which that we are monitoring through there, but we're also looking at different ways as our ping that you can actually change up a little bit. What are you wanting to do it every 120 seconds? Are you wanting to do it 10 seconds? Things of that nature from different ones. The great thing with managed device is, and what I've seen a lot of people do, is they will put out multiple collectors. And they have and they're monitoring, and as if you're monitoring versus managing, that's different, right? So managing is what you pay for, that counts as a device. But if you're monitoring, that does not actually cost. So what people are doing to make sure in East Coast, West Coast, or, East office versus West office, is they will actually set up collectors, since you do not pay for collectors. And then you would actually ping the same devices from different ones, so that you can check different routing abilities and have kind of an HA there from a pinging ability. So just throwing that out there, that's something that I know a few people have said that came across there that I thought I would pass on to you all. All right, so we're going to go into the building dashboards and kind of surface what's most, daily operations. So I'm getting better at this. Let's see here. All right, so I'm going to go into the dashboards itself. And what I wanted to look at is, so some people have came in here, and I've had this conversation with them, and you see the network troubleshooting. And when you go into the add dashboards, they stop. And so I just wanted to let everybody know here, right, that you don't have to stop. We're not asking you to come up with some sweet query, right? That's one of the things is what I want to do is show you that just continue. So I'm going to put in here, and I say this lovingly, but I was on a gentleman's Domotz about a couple of weeks ago, and he had it for 3 months, and he was using the Explorer page and inventory, but that was about it. And when he came to dashboards, the exact words were, when I went to add it, I thought I had to understand scripting, so I stopped because I wanted to understand it more. So I wanted to make sure you all know you do not have to understand that. Now, you can totally get into the craziness if you want to, but we have several that are out of the box. So I just wanted to kind of go through some of this and to make sure that you understand, because I'll click the buttons. I know some people do not want to click buttons, so I'm a clicker. So I'm going to go through here and show you. You already have the network troubleshooting window, which that is all your collectors, that is out of the box. And then one of my favorite, though, that I wanted to show across here is the connectivity and status of uptime. I just like this because I'm able to see everything as a whole, but also these dashboards are not just monitoring. I hate that they're just called monitoring dashboards, right? It's like, I wish I could just rename things the way that I wanted to, because you can manage from them too. And I think that's very important, because it's not just a dashboard, it's an actual engagement, and it's a management dashboard for you, created for you, right? So one of the things, though, is that if you click down here, it opens up more abilities so that you can kind of see more device information. And some people don't know that because they miss the arrow that's over here. And so you can actually go in here and change some of these up. Yes, Charles, this will be actually sent out. So you can actually go through these and see some of the release numbers. If you're wanting to add to this report, add to, right? Like, these are just out of the box, and I'm wanting to add to some information of which that can be in here. And then I can look at these and I'm like, all right, yeah, I want that. You know what? Maybe past 7 days is something that I want. Maybe it's not. Maybe you don't want some of these. That's totally fine. But when you come into here, you're able to see the devices that you're wanting to go across. You can do a dynamic selection. You can do some of your filters if you're wanting to. You're able to actually, contain this into, even if you're wanting to do model, collector. Some people don't click on that on the left-hand side. So again, I just want to show you that it's very customizable, but it's not customizable in a way of that you need to, learn coding or something of which that would come about there, because you don't have to do that. So I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to hit next, and I'm going to hit save. Now I have this information in front of me, right? And this is the cool part, because I'm able to come across here and I can see the information very quickly from this devices. I can, look at the actions. Do I want to edit the table name? Do I want to download this? This is great. So I was actually on a call the other day, and they were saying, hey, I'm on the inventory page, but I really need this to be a CSV. I need this to come across here. I need, certain information filtered down. Well, we were like, create it in a dashboard and you'll be able to do this and export it. And they were like, I have been here for 2 years and I did not know that this is where I could do this. And so I'm trying to just think of things, right? Like, that I've had some of you guys, have asked us and share, because, sharing is caring, right? But I can manage some of these devices. I can manage if I want to make some quick changes, but I can download it. And that's something that I think is very vital in understanding and knowing, because you can do a lot with that, right? I can come in here and see, like, this is unlocked. So I can unlock this device if I want to from here. It's a management board, right? Like, I can actually get into here. I can see all of these that are coming in here. So anyway, I just wanted you to know, and I can directly, if I'm seeing a device, I can go into that information and make updates and do. So for me, dashboards are very management. Oh, yes, you didn't know that either. That makes me happy. All right, we're doing good. All right, so this is a lot of information that I think that, like I said, I'm trying to really just foundationally show you guys some information to make sure you're getting the most out of your Domotz. All right, and so when we go into, like, if we have these switches that are coming in here that we have, you're able to see some of the information. Sorry, I'm going to go into this troubleshooting dashboard. So here's something fun. So if I'm looking at the dashboards themselves, I can create alerts from here. So I can literally set an alert. I can actually view the history of this device. And when I was on with the gentleman, he was like, I can create the alert from here because that's exactly where I was wanting to come from. And so I was like, yeah, this is totally where you can do this at. Now, he also, from this actions, he added a column of, let me see if I can go manage columns. I'm going to go, let me do jitter, for instance. I'm going to apply. So these are the things that you're able to do. And so you can create this dashboard, but it's also an edited, manageable dashboard to which that you have that you can come across here. And then you can look at all of these that are within here, right? So one of the things that I like is not only just creating it. Oh, sorry, I went right into the collector itself. All right, so if I'm creating my alerts, I think that is vital. I can automatically set it and see. This one is only because I'm on a restricted one, but you can create the alert from here. I can view the history of that column of what it's talking about. When I'm also, if I have multiple collectors here and say I have integrations set up, you'll see integrations that are here, and you'll be able to make sure that all your integrations are across there. And if they're not, you can go there. He noticed that he didn't have his Halo set up on all three of his polars, which made a lot of sense when he was looking at his alerts and wasn't getting them. So it was like, oh, okay, you can manage that and you're able to see that, and you can dive right in. But again, what I wanted you to know is that these aren't just a set it and forget it type of a dashboard, right? Like these are actually usable managing capabilities. I'm able to see holistically my environments. I can do more with them. Also, if I wanted to add another monitoring table, look at all of these that come across here. So if I'm adding one of these and I'm wanting to look at all of these, I can go into all of these different types so that I can add these monitoring tables to see information. I can add scripts from the library if I wanted to. Again, if you wanted to get a little bit more into that customization that you're doing. So all of this information is available is what I'm trying to say. And there you're able to set up these dashboards so that you can have not only a place of information, KPI information of which that you need to come across there, but you have a lot more abilities to actually see some of this information, right? And it's something that I think is pretty cool that helps everybody out there. So I hope that was valuable and useful. You need a secret link like the Synchro does. Yeah, exactly. We do. We need to put some of those in there. All right, so. And these are just some of the custom dashboards that some of the groups of which that you can make. And you can add your collectors again. You can add different. You can just keep adding to one if you're not wanting to like just create separate ones. So again, have fun with them. Look at them because again, some of the things that I've done from here, for instance, like if there was a major issue that was coming across here that I seen, I would automatically set an alert because I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I want. And then I'm not guessing. I automatically am being set up for the jitter based upon what's happening here. If I'm wanting, the buffer blow grade or anything that's coming across here, I'm able to do that. That comes in there too. Not at this time, Michael, but the React components of which that they are working on for the new dashboards that are coming out, you would be able to do that. So, and those dashboards are more kind of also insight driven. So you're going to have a little bit more that's going to be there as per managed. So a lot of that information will come with the new dashboards that should be out in April that are coming in there. All right, let's see here. Go into, all right, so again, and I was talking about the insights and the dashboards. So one of the things that I wanted to show you is that when we go into inventory also, a lot of people use these as dashboards, and that's totally fine. You're able to come in here, again, like here, like your collector integrations. If you had multiple collectors, go to your inventory. You can check out your collectors. Are they consistent? Is there something that is not there that maybe you need to update and to fix? You can use inventory as a way to actually filter, hone in, make sure that you're expecting to see the correct integrations that are there. Are there profiles there? What are the profiles that are there? Things like that. So this is a way that you can help to also keep everything within there. So like this is the platform of which that your collector's on, which is the Domotz box. All of these things that you can do. But if you scroll to the right, like this is something that, oh, so sorry. Thank you so much. I'm so glad I looked, Larry. All right. So If I go into inventory, let me recap that. And I go into here, you're able to see, and mine's landing me on my collectors. I can visually see these. I can add my collector to this if I don't see it, or if I need to add a collector, not a problem. I can actually map this. So a lot of people use this as a view. I don't know if a lot of people knew that was there. Some people don't like clicking buttons, right? Like I'm here to click them for you. So this is, a lot of people use this sometimes as their knock type of a view. Again, we're working on some of those insight boards, but until then, this is a great one that a lot of people use. But we can also go across here, and if we're looking at managed devices, you're able to see all of these so that you can actually filter and take action upon them. I can add the serial numbers. These are management type environments, right? And I think that's something that's pretty cool that comes across there. If I look down here, I can see my setup. I can see my collectors, right? I can see the information that is here. I agree with you. Linux works great, especially for VLANs. So when we're coming across here, we can add tags. You can see the platform, but all the way to the right, you can still hit actions. And that's what I wanted you to see. So then you're able to see your monitoring settings. You can make changes to this very easily. You're able to do some of your logging reports, generate. You can do all this. So a lot of people don't scroll to the right. Right. So that's one of the things where I just wanted to make sure that you knew that you'd be able to make some of these changes and have some of these actions available to you. If I go into the organizations themselves, I can add my collectors to these organizations. I can kind of set up, right, like different filtered environments of which that can come across here. And so those are some of the things that people like to use. If I go to my all devices, this is how, especially when we have managed versus unmanaged, you can get quick counts. You can be able to understand some of that information. So you have your managed, you can actually filter it out, or you can actually do your unmanaged that is there. But again, we're able to make management decisions. I can add to these. I can do bulk operations as well from here so that we can add these device details that would come in here. So that's some of the fun things. So a lot of people didn't know you could do that now. So if I actually... yes, it will be multi-tenants. And that was due to RBAC, Dawn, just so that you know that you'd be able to do that. You can also do dashboards today with RBAC. So if you wanted a client to just see view only, like, you know, up down status, you'd be able to create that out there and you'd be able to give them a login that is read only. So you're able to do that also. But a lot of people didn't know you could do multiple actions. So if I click on these or if I click on all, I can actually update some of this information and I can change and make multiple actions. So those are some of the things that you're able to do from here to help you to get things, to help with that standardization, right? To help you get some of that information that would come across there. So that's some of the cool things of which that are in there. One of the things also is when we're using the Explorer and you're coming through here, obviously when you're going into your actual collectors on your VLANs and you're able to see these, a lot of people are sometimes curious. They're like, well, I don't really know what activity is happening or how people are doing anything. Come in here and start doing some of the logging. You're able to see some of the devices. You can see some of their information and you can actually go straight to their information itself. You can look at the history. You can see if anything's changed that's came in there. So as a lot of people sometimes ask me, they're like, hey, is there a way that I can just send that report? I'm like, yeah, you can go in here. It's in your report and loggings. You can go in here. You can export it. You can do a lot of information from here, right? For some of these logs. And again, if you were a part of some of my NMS stuff, you probably know that I would actually, sorry. All right, so let me add myself onto there. Okay, so, and if you've ever worked with me before or known things, I like to take these reports and I use AI, not public facing, but I use a private one and or an organizational one. And I like to put these reports in and ask it how to better monitor or if there's something that I should look at or something that it's doing. And I keep a running history project on that and it does a comparative and it can actually see shifts and to do some things. So if you guys were on our AI podcast webinar with Jason Domenico, you know that we're already leaned into the agentic internally as well as with our APIs. So that's some of the things that we're working on as well. Sean, I have to agree with you. The Protectly boxes are pretty cool. So those are actually pretty awesome. Yep, I agree. Cloud OP is one of the ways to go as well. But we're also working on that internally. So there's a lot of stuff on discovery. We have so many things that are happening right now. So it's kind of cool. And it's really exciting to be a part of. Again, I'm going to put my email address here just so that, again, if anybody has questions or anything of which that can come across there, please make sure that you can do this. Email me at any time. I'm always checking it. Like, you know, I may get back to you. It may be the day after, but I'll make sure that I can get a hold with you. Let me see here. When can we have a limit of managed devices for each collector? I'm asking from a multi-tenant point of view, or restrict specific users and collectors from setting a devices as. Ooh, I like that. So RBAC, by the way, Noel, if you implement RBAC across, then you would be able to not allow them to manage. So that can help for now. And then on a restricted one, I'll actually look into that because we do have a capacity level of which that we can do. But that's more from like PAX8 and things like that use those from a marketplace standpoint. But there might be something that we could venture towards that would allow you to have that, right? To where like, hey, customer, if you're wanting to increase this, here's your bundles, here's your things, right? Of which that come across there. Use Pi, very nice. Collector. Okay, so Christian, let's see here. I'm going to show this one just to make sure. All right. So the API consumption, we do not have a limit. In our user agreement, I do know that we say that we could restrict it at some points because this was brought up to me on that. We have never had to implement that. So, and I know that they have been looking at that. So at this rate, we have not had an API consumption that would come across there. And we've had a lot per minute, but it has not came up. So I hope that helps you with that. Is there a way to define newly discovered devices? Ooh, that's a good idea, Michael. There might be in the API because it would be date set. I would look into that. Make sure that we're looking at those that would come across there, because there might be a date that you'd be able to correlate that in the actual software as it is itself. I don't know. I know that it will show you in the corner in the top right. It will actually say like new devices are discovered. But if somebody takes away that notification, I'm not sure if that notification is somewhere else, and you would be able to get that in a report to let you know if they were managed or unmanaged. That would come in there. Let me see. How can you learn more about RBAC? If you go to our YouTube channel, you will see in a course, there is an academy directly on RBAC. Actually, you know what? I'm saying that and I'm being rude because I do have fingers. I can type. Let me see if I can find that. All right, let me see if I can get that one for you real quick. Because we did a whole webinar also on that, but there's a course that will actually walk you through it as well. So that might be a little bit fun there. All right, let me get there. All right. Domotz, view channel. All right. Courses. All right. I am putting it in the chat. See, I can do things. There you go. So that right there is going to give you to the courses, and you can look up the RBAC so that you'll be able to see that. User to read only. Got you, Noel. I'll look into that because I thought they had a way that you could management capability was a part of one of the RBACs. So Noel, send me an email, please, and I will get with you because I just want to make, I think there's a way that we can do. Oh, we are going to stop that. So if you are on our community on Reddit, you'll know that we actually had a vote on that. Like, hey, did you want us to start classifying these as important? And everybody was like, please stop. So that's getting implemented out. So we will stop. It's not important. We get it. We understand. So we're going to be able to do that. All right, Daniel Cole. Any server workstation monitoring capabilities, offline devices stopped, things like that included, or an add-on to the base net? Yeah, you can absolutely do that. So you can do, we have several SNMP sensors and templates of which that you can apply. And outside of that, especially for servers and everything, like anything that can be monitored by SNMP, we can do that, which means you can alert upon it. So don't worry about that. That's definitely there. Perfect. I love that. Good job, Robert. See, yeah, I was like, yeah, there's like so many things that we can do there. And please check out the integrations into all the different ones of which that we have there. All right, so we have 5 minutes left. I'm losing my voice today. It's crazy. I hope this was informational. And again, what I wanted to do is, I mean, as you guys know, like I'm not a salesman. I'm not anybody that comes across there. But what I wanted to do is say, hey, Like, let's make sure we have some of the foundations. Let's make sure that we understand and know, like, hey, there's something here that you guys can take a part of that's going to help you be better monitors and managers of your actual Domotz. So if there's more things that you want to hear from me, or if you're wanting to like deep dive into anything or to come across there, email me. I'm always looking for ways that I can do that. So I would be very happy to help. At all, like if there's anything, and maybe you can even join me for a webinar. Like if anybody wants to be like, hey, I have some really cool things that I've done with Domotz and I want to share, let's do it. Or if you're like, I don't want to share it, but I want to tell you so that you can share it, let's do that. So again, I'm putting my email address in here so that we can have better conversations. Again, I want to like find me on LinkedIn. I can join me there. I message people there all the time too. So again, I'm really here to help. And again, anything with network and monitoring, even security, if you're curious about compliance, let's network, let's have some fun. So again, if there's anything in which that I can provide for you, please let me know. And again, email me at any time. I'm always here. And I thank you guys so much for joining today. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And I hope you guys had a great St. Patty's Day. So I didn't even know it was St. Patrick's Day yesterday until I had a daughter who texted me last night and said, you missed it, Mom. I was like, oh, darn it. So thank you all so much. I appreciate you. No problem, Sean. Can we get a close-up of the network engineer picture? Oh, wait, right here. I'm like, can you even read it? Like, oh, is it backwards? Let me see here. Pretty much someone who solves problems in a way you don't understand, a person who does precision guesswork based on unreliable data provided by those of questionable knowledge. See also a genius or a wizard. I'll put that one back up. All right. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you again. Have a great one.